Picture this. You're walking through a pet store. Maybe you didn't even plan to stop, but something catches your eye. There's a puppy in a glass enclosure, tiny, round, bouncing off the walls, staring at you with those enormous eyes. Your heart does something involuntary. Your hand goes to the glass. You smile before you even realize you're smiling. Now picture something else. You walk into a shelter. There are dogs barking. The smell is different. The energy is different. And somewhere near the back, there's a dog sitting very still, not barking, not jumping, just watching you, quietly. Maybe he looks away when you make eye contact. Maybe he just sits there like he's given up on being noticed. Most people walk past that dog. And here's what I want to talk to you about today, because that quiet dog in the back of the shelter, that moment tells us something extraordinary about canine psychology, about trauma, about resilience, and about what's actually possible when a dog who has learned not to hope learns to hope again. Hi, I'm Sarah, a dog behavior specialist and the heart behind Paw Stories. I've spent years studying what dogs feel, why they act the way they do, and how the bond between dogs and their humans can be one of the most profound relationships in life. My goal is to help you truly understand what's going on in your dog's mind and heart, so you can respond in ways that make them feel seen, safe, and deeply loved. If understanding what your dog truly feels fascinates you as much as it fascinates me, subscribe and hit that like button. It helps me reach more dog lovers who want to go deeper into this beautiful bond. Now, let's talk about the truth behind the choice that millions of people make every year, often without knowing the full picture. Why your brain chooses the puppy, and why that's not your fault. The pull you feel toward a puppy in a pet store window is not weakness or superficiality. It is biology. There's a documented evolutionary phenomenon called neotenia, the tendency of juvenile features to trigger caregiving instincts in adults. Round faces, large eyes, clumsy movements, high-pitched sounds. These features activate your brain's caregiving circuitry almost instantly. Research from Kringelbach and colleagues has shown that just looking at a baby face, human or animal, produces a rapid response in the orbitofrontal cortex, the region linked to emotion and reward. It happens in milliseconds, before conscious thought. So when you feel your heart melt at a puppy, your brain is doing exactly what it was designed to do. That's not the problem. The problem is what that feeling is often being used to sell and what it's hiding. Here's what most people don't know about where pet store puppies come from. The vast majority, and I mean the overwhelming majority, originate from commercial breeding facilities, places where profit, not welfare, is the operating principle, where mother dogs spend their lives in cycles of pregnancy with little socialization, little stimulation, and little of what a dog actually needs to develop a healthy nervous system and a stable temperament. A landmark study published in the Journal of Veterinary Behavior by Frank McMillan and colleagues in 2011 compared dogs purchased from pet stores to dogs obtained from responsible breeders. The results were striking. Pet store dogs showed significantly higher rates of aggression toward owners, aggression toward unfamiliar dogs, fear of strangers, separation anxiety, and general excitability. This wasn't about individual dogs being bad. This was a systemic outcome of how and where those dogs spent the most critical weeks of their development. Because here's something fundamental about canine psychology. The socialization window, roughly 3 to 12 weeks of age, is when a puppy's brain is most plastic, most open, most receptive to learning what is safe and what is not, what humans are, what sounds mean, what touch feels like. A puppy who spends that window in a wire cage with minimal human contact, shipped across the country in a box, placed in a glass enclosure under fluorescent lights, that puppy is building a nervous system shaped by stress. And you can't always see that in the first weeks, but you will see it eventually. I want to be very clear here. I am not saying every person who has ever bought a dog from a pet store made a terrible choice. Many of those dogs are deeply loved and have wonderful lives. What I am saying is that you deserve to make this decision with all of the information. And most of the time, the industry doesn't give you that. What's really happening inside that quiet shelter dog? Now let's go back to that dog in the shelter, the one who wasn't jumping, the one who seemed almost absent. What you were seeing wasn't a broken dog. What you were seeing was a nervous system in survival mode. Dogs in shelter environments experience what researchers call chronic stress activation. The HPA axis, the hormonal pathway that governs your stress response and theirs, becomes persistently elevated. Studies by Hennessy and colleagues documented measurable elevations in cortisol in dogs within the first 72 hours of shelter admission. Cortisol suppresses exploratory behavior, social engagement, and playfulness. It produces exactly what you saw: a dog who has gone quiet, gone still, gone inward. Behavioral researchers call the extreme version of this learned helplessness, a concept originally described by Martin Seligman, which applies with painful precision to animals in environments where they have no control over what happens to them. When a dog's vocalizations bring no response, when their attempts at connection are ignored day after day, when the environment is unpredictable and their choices don't matter, over time, they stop trying. Not because they don't care, because caring started to hurt too much. I have sat with dogs in shelters who would not look at me, dogs who had tucked themselves so far inside themselves that they barely registered my presence. And I want you to know, I've also seen those same dogs 3 months into a stable home, melting into someone's lap, playing with a toy like puppies, wagging with their whole bodies. The brain changes. That's not poetry. That's neuroscience. When a dog moves from a shelter into a safe, consistent, loving environment, the nervous system begins what I think of as the long exhale. The chronic cortisol elevation drops. The vagus nerve, central to our ability to feel safe and connected, begins to regulate again, and something extraordinary happens. The bond begins to form. Research by Nagasawa and colleagues, published in Science in 2015, demonstrated that mutual gazing between dogs and humans triggers an oxytocin feedback loop. In both species simultaneously, the dog looks at you, your oxytocin rises, you engage more warmly, they feel that warmth, their oxytocin rises. This is not metaphor, this is neurochemistry, and it happens between adopted dogs and their families just as powerfully, sometimes more so, because for some of these dogs, safety is a brand new discovery, and every moment of it registers deeply. The 3-3-3 rule, and what it actually tells us about the canine mind. Here's something I tell every family who brings home a shelter dog. Give it time. Specifically, think in threes. The first 3 days, your dog is in shock. Not dramatic shock, neurological overload, a completely new environment, new smells, new sounds, new humans, new routine. They may not eat well, they may hide, they may seem shut down, or, conversely, frantically anxious. This is their system processing a seismic change. Do not evaluate your dog in this window. You are not seeing the dog yet. The first 3 weeks, the dog begins to understand the routine. They start to map their new world. This is often when real behaviors emerge, some of which might surprise or worry you. You might see resource guarding, leash reactivity, some testing of boundaries. This is not the dog revealing a hidden dark side. This is a dog beginning to feel safe enough to have feelings again. Stay consistent, stay calm. After 3 months, with patience and predictability, you typically begin to see who this dog actually is. Their personality emerges, their quirks, their humor, their specific way of loving you. And what I've witnessed in this phase, over and over, is something that never stops moving me. These dogs become extraordinary readers of human emotion. This isn't accidental. A dog who has had to navigate unpredictable, sometimes threatening environments develops what I can only describe as a hyper-calibrated emotional radar. They have learned to read humans with extraordinary precision, because for them, reading humans correctly was survival. When that dog enters a safe home, that skill doesn't disappear. It transforms. It becomes attunement. It becomes the dog who knows you're sad before you say a word. The dog who appears at your side on your worst days. The dog who seems to understand you in ways that can genuinely take your breath away. Research supports this. Dogs with histories of hardship who receive stable, responsive care often demonstrate heightened sensitivity to owner emotional cues, faster cortisol recovery in the presence of their person, and stronger orientation behaviors toward their attachment figure. In plain language, the dog who had to learn to trust again often bonds with an intensity that is singular. When to watch, when to worry, and when to ask for help now. I want to be honest with you, because that's what I'm here for. Not every shelter dog adjusts smoothly. Not every history is equal. And there are real signals that tell you when to observe more closely and when to bring in professional support. Behaviors that are typical in the first weeks: hiding, reduced appetite, clinginess, occasional accidents generally resolve with time, routine, and positive reinforcement. Reintroducing the dog to the world slowly, rewarding calm behavior, building confidence through predictable positive interactions. This is the foundation. But here's what I need you to watch for. If after 4 to 6 weeks you're seeing persistent, escalating growling or snapping around food, toys, or spaces, that's resource guarding that needs professional guidance, not punishment. If leash reactivity isn't reducing with gentle, consistent exposure, a certified behaviorist can make an enormous difference. If your dog cannot be left alone without destroying the environment, self-harming through excessive licking or chewing or vocalizing continuously, that's separation anxiety that deserves professional attention and sometimes veterinary support, including medication. And this is crucial. Before you attribute any behavior to emotional history, rule out physical pain. A dog who is reactive, snappy, or withdrawn may be hurting somewhere. Hypothyroidism, hip dysplasia, dental pain, undiagnosed injury, all of these can manifest as behavioral changes. A thorough veterinary exam is always step one. Reaching out for help is not a failure. It is the most responsible, loving thing you can do. A dog who has already survived hardship deserves an owner who will advocate fiercely for their well-being. What this choice really means. I want to come back to where we started, that quiet dog in the back of the shelter. The science doesn't tell us that adopted dogs are inherently better than purchased ones. What it tells us is something more nuanced and, I think, more profound. That the quality of the bond between a dog and a human is shaped not by where the dog came from, but by what happens between them every single day. What it also tells us is that the dog who has experienced hardship and found safety carries that transformation in their body, in their behavior, in the way they orient to their person. There is something in that dog, a depth of loyalty, a quality of attention, a way of being present, that I have spent years trying to find words for. Here's what I've come to understand after years of this work. Choosing to adopt is not a sacrifice. It is not settling. It is walking into a shelter, finding a creature in survival mode and saying, I see you, I choose you. And then watching, over weeks and months, as that choice rewrites everything that creature believed about the world. If you're thinking about adding a dog to your life, I'm not here to make you feel guilty. I am here to make sure you have the whole picture, the one the pet industry doesn't show you, and the one your future dog can't tell you in words. Look for the quiet one in the back. That dog has already proven they can survive. With you, they'll learn something far more extraordinary. They'll learn how to live. Now you know what's really happening inside that beautiful, resilient heart, and why the choice to adopt might be one of the most profound decisions you ever make. Share this with someone who loves their dog as much as you love yours. Subscribe to Paw Stories for more of this, because every dog deserves an owner who truly understands them. And leave a comment below. Tell me your story. Did you adopt? Did you buy and then discover something unexpected? Are you thinking about it right now? I read every single comment, and every story genuinely matters to me. This community exists because of you, and because of every dog who found their way home.